Hello, Splatoon fans, and welcome back to another video on the channel. I am Rumor Knights, and today we will be exploring what I think is next for Splatoon 3. Now, note that this video is being recorded on, or not this video, but like the audio for this video is being recorded on the 14th of February.
Valentine's Day.
So, some of this information may be out, like, we may have gotten a trailer for the fresh season by the time that this video is out. Hopefully not. But anyway, let's get right on into it. So first up, let's talk about the fresh season, as that is the very next thing coming up. But in today's video, I won't just be talking about that. I'll be talking about things like Splatfests, the big run, as well as the DLC, and a bit more other than that. So anyway, fresh season. So, the fresh season is set to be the next season of Splatoon. It'll happen during spring. It'll be starting very soon, in March. However, to look at it, I first want to look at what we got during the chill season of 2022. So, in the 2022 chill season, we got 3 new weapons, those being the Big Swig, the Nova, and the Snipe Rider. 10 new kits for already existing weapons. 2 new stages, one of them being Flounder, and then I think one of them just being an entirely new one. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I know one of them was Flounder, which returns from Wii U, from Splatoon 1. 2 new modes, those being X battles, which if you don't already know, you probably know, but they're ranked battles that you can only participate in if you are S+0 or higher, and they're just essentially a higher level of ranked for more competitive players, as well as the big run mode, which we'll get a bit more into later, but it's just every so often salmon run event, but we'll get more into that later. We also got 1 new salmon run stage, technically a returning one from Splatoon 2. We got Marooner's Bay. I guess 2, you could say, if you count Wahoo World, although that was only during the big run event, and yeah. We got the seasonal awards, the super rare protected species. We got 15 new pieces of gear, which I should have a screenshot of from Inkopedia on here right now. I counted about 59, 60 returning pieces of gear, and then as for the events, we got 2 Splatfests, and then 1 big run, and then we do look to, technically I think that event will have already it will be happening while this video goes up, because I upload on Saturdays, but the rare weapon only rotation. So let's get into that. Well, first up, for this, I think that from now on we are going to be getting 3 Splatfests per season. Yes, I think that we're going to be getting a Splatfest every single month, rather than every other month. Now, you might be like, why? Like, we only got 2 in the chill season, so why would you think we'd get 3? Well, let me explain to you. If we're having the big run be on the first month of the season, and then we're having the golden weapon rotation on the last month of the season, and then I think for the middle month, Nintendo did mention something right into League Battles having a new thing in Splatoon, so it could be in Splatoon 3, so it could be that. But what I'm thinking, or it could be something DLC related, we do not know. But anyway, I digress. What I'm thinking is that we're going to be getting 6 monthly big in-game, game-wide events for everyone. Or not monthly, seasonally. And what those will be is 3 of them will be monthly Splatfest events. And then the other ones will be things such as Big Run, which will be little things. Now, this concept was brought up by Rizzaround. I think he said he would like to see it. And I do think that there's a very big possibility that we will see it happening, and I think that definitely the rare weapon only rotation can be counted as one of them, as in Splatoon 2 it would only happen like 2 to 3 times a year, which brings me to my next point. We might have like rotating events that only happen every other season, or something like that, like the rare weapon only, or the ultra rare weapon only, I mean. But anyway, let's get into that. So, if you didn't really play Splatoon 2, or even if you did play Splatoon 2, you might not know what this is. Well, this is technically called the rare weapon only rotation. Now, you might know of the rare weapon rotations, which is when like all of the check marks or all of the weapons on the screen become green question marks, or one of them does, and the rest of them are set weapons. And that's where, if it's one of them, then one player will always get a rare Grisco weapon. If all of them are question marked, then 1 or 2 players per wave will get a Grisco weapon, and the other 2 or 3 will receive a normal weapon, a random normal weapon, though not a set one. But anyway, these are ways where you can use the ultra overpowered Grisco weapons. So what are these? Well, we have 6 weapons, 4 of which were introduced in Splatoon 2, and 2 of which so far have been introduced in Splatoon 3. In 2 we had the Grisco Blaster, Brella, Charger, and Slosher. And in Splatoon 3 so far we've had the Grisco Stinger and the Grisco Stamper. Now, what this is like is, it's honestly pretty fun. When I played it in 2, I really loved doing the rare weapon only rotation, because it's just insanely fun. It's like the rare weapon rotation, but you always get a rare weapon. It's really easy to farm eggs off it, and it's genuinely so fun. But yeah, anyway, basically, TLDR, I think we're going to be getting a Splatfest every single month, and then we're going to be getting these little events like Big Run and the rare weapons only rotation and whatever else Nintendo has in store for us. That will be little other supplemental events every month, so that we can be kept entertained by Nintendo. Now, let's move on to League Battle. Nintendo did say that they are going to eventually add League Battles to the game. Now, you might wonder what League Battles are if you didn't play 2. Real quick, basically, they're a way that you could play ranked with 2 people or with 4 people. You can play with 3 people. You can only do a duo, or a pair or whatever, or a full team. But you just join your friends, and you can join regardless of rank, although you did have to have ranked unlocked and be at least B- in at least one of the ranked modes. Anyways, so you might wonder, why would this be needed? Like, we already have Anarchy open battles in Splatoon 3, so why would we need these? Well, in my opinion, I'm no competitive player, but I do think that they did serve a purpose in helping teams like play with each other and play in a natural environment with other people, as it does give you a power rating in 2. You play 7 games and then you get a power rating, and then you play against other teams with a similar power rating, sort of like Splatfest Pro mode, where you play a bit and it gives you the Splatfest power. Sorry about that. Where you play a bit and it gives you your Splatfest power, and you play against people with similar Splatfest power. So, I think that they're going to add that back, and as I mentioned earlier, they did say they have something new in store. I do not know what this is, really, but if you think you might know what it is, and it hasn't already been announced as this video being uploaded, comment that in the comments section below. I'd love to see what you guys think. Now, I want to talk about weapons. As I said earlier, we did get 3 new weapons for the chill season, which were, again, the Sniper Raider, the Splatshot Nova, and the Big Swig Roller, and 10 kits for existing weapons. Now, for this season, I'm definitely expecting either a new Splatana or a new Stinger. I'm leaning more to Splatana side, to be honest, and I think this would be good because it would give us a nice 3 different options for Splatanas. Speaking of Splatanas, I do think we might get a new Viper kit as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if we also got a new Brella, as there's only currently 3 Brellas in the game. So I think that would be nice. And finally, I think we might finally get a new brush. Although that could come later on. But we do, that's something we need, is a new brush. Because we've had the ink brush and the octo brush, and I don't think we've gotten a new brush since Splatoon 1. So we definitely do need a new type of brush other than just ink and octo brush. Now, as for the kits, I did mention Viper. I also think that both the heavy spotling and the ballpoint spotling will get kits. Or, well, either the ballpoint Splatling or the Hydra will be getting new kits. I can only really see us getting one shooter kit, as we got 3 last season. And I think that would be either getting a 52 gal kit, alternate kit, or a Jet Squelcher alternate kit. I also think that we might be getting an L3 or an H3 kit, although those will probably be coming later on down the line. And for rollers, I think that we will finally be getting the Gold Dynamo roller. I believe they've teased this in trailers before, like showing off the Gold Dynamo roller. I heard from another YouTuber that also like thinks the same way. But yeah, I think that we'll finally be getting that Gold Dynamo. As for sloshers, I think that we will probably be getting a new sloshing machine kit. I also think that we might also see a new slosher kit. For dualies, I think that is very likely that we'll be getting new Tetras, and if we're being honest, we'll probably get the Ombre Splat dualies again. Now, if I chose it, I would choose to get new Tetras and Glugas, because those are my 2 biggest mains. And it would be nice to have Gluga dualies Deco. Although I do love the current Gluga kit, don't get me wrong, but it would be cool to, see other options. But, anyway, finally we might see a new kit for the Reflex 400, I'm thinking, or maybe the Stinger. Alright, next up, let's move back to Salmon Runs. Let's move on to Big Run. Now, I, for one, did not participate in Big Run during the first Big Run, as I really wasn't playing video games at the time it happened. Because at the time it happened, I was only playing Splatoon during Splatfests, and I didn't even know what Big Run was. About, 10 days later, I got back into Splatoon, but, yeah. But as for I do know a bit about it. So, I know that it's an event that happens on a normal stage, which is removed from the rotation of all of the public lobbies, the Anarchy, and the X battles, and the Turf Wars, for a weekend. Sorry. And in that weekend, we get to play Salmon Run on that map. Now, I think that Big Run will introduce a new Salmonoid. This was mentioned, I think, again by Rizzaround, but I'm not sure. But this would make sense, as if we're gonna end up having 8 to 9 season wins, we would in total before the end of the main life cycle of this game, before they stop the consistent support and only do very minor support updates or little patches or bug fixes. I think that would be good to have, 8 different King Salmonids. Provides a lot of randomness, especially when you only get about, once every 5 or 6 games. It's, enough to keep it entertaining. And we already know that the statue from the first Big Run was a Kohazuna, so I'm definitely thinking we might get new King Salmonids introduced. Also, I think that having one, and, also having only one Big Run every 3 months keeps the mode fresh and fun. Hey, editing, Evelyn here. The video is about to continue on, but also, one point I thought of whilst I was editing this is that not just does it keep it fresh and fun, but it also provides sort of a spectacle effect, for lack of a better term, where essentially it'll make the game, have something to stand out for in that weekend, which will make, one, could be used as a selling point for that game for that weekend only, but 2, could also get people back to a game who haven't played in a while, and that, not just is that good for the player base, but it would be good for Nintendo, as it would make people buy online again, and people buy the DLC. So I think that's another good thing that is good for both the player base and for Nintendo, that we only have one Big Run every 3 months. But yeah, the rest of the videos are to continue now. Anyway, another idea, again, I think it was from Rizzaround, is that the idea that Big Run could be used to introduce new stages to a game, and I actually think this is both possible and plausible. I think that it is a legitimate possibility that next season we could see a new stage introduced via Big Run. What I'm thinking is, because the 7 rings thing was in 2, is that maybe in the lore of the story, what happens is that, I don't really know too much about the Big Run lore, but like, that happens to a Splatoon 2 stage, and then we play Big Run, and then we get another Splatoon 2 stage in Splatoon 3 after we play Big Run. Rather than playing on an entirely new stage, only for a 3. But yeah, speaking of stages, let's move on. I think that next season, we'll be receiving 2 new stages. Well, one new stage of this game and 1 returning stage. I think we'll be receiving that little desert stage that they teased to us along with Moray, along with Flounder. But speaking of Moray, I do think we are going to be getting Moray Towers back. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't add this back. However, this is definitely stable in the Splatoon series, and I think that it and or Arowana needs to be added back at one point in this game's life cycle. I also think that we will unlock the Reef via Big Run, as I mentioned earlier, but I am not exactly sure. That's just what I think. Now, as for stages like Bluefin and Urchin Underpass, which haven't even came back from one yet, what I'm thinking is that Urchin Underpass will get in the summer, or we'll get it around the same time that the Inkopolis DLC comes out. Why do I say this? Well, Urchin Underpass was the, big thing of Splatoon 1, and so I think it would only make sense to release it with the Inkopolis DLC. Now, obviously, everyone, even people who didn't have the DLC, would be able to play it, but I think it would make sense to release it along with the DLC. Speaking of the DLC, I want to speculate release dates. Specifically of Wave 1 of the DLC. Now, there also might be the possibility of 4 waves since we saw the 4 stickers, and I'm going to discuss that in a minute, but as for release dates, I think that Wave 1 will probably be released sometime in late May. What I'm thinking is that we'll either get it on 28th of May, which is the original release date of Splatoon 1 in Japan, or the 29th of May, which is the original release date of Splatoon 1 in the rest of the world other than Japan, which I think would really work. It would be good because not just is May a good time to release software of games or whatever, it's also that it would be a good way to pay homage to the original release date, all back in 2015, which I think that would be 8 years as the time that day. That's crazy, dude. I vaguely remember playing the Test Fire on my Wii U. Anyway, I also expect that when they do announce this, that they will announce a Splatfest, similar to how we, or not announce, but release it, because similar to how we got the Squid vs. Octopus Splatfest in Splatoon 2, after the Octo expansion came out, I think we will very possibly be getting a Splatfest related to maybe it'll be something to do with Inkopolis and the Splatlands. I don't know. But yeah. As for Wave 2 side order, I'm guessing that they're going to release this in November, right? Maybe a week before Black Friday. So then, or at the very least make it available for purchase then. Because if they release it then that gives all of the Black Friday shoppers a reason to, buy the DLC right before that. And, I'm expecting that when they do release this, if they end up only releasing 2 waves, that they might make a copy of the game that comes with the DLC, like a cartridge that is in a box, and inside the box is the download code for the DLC, is something I'm thinking that they would also probably do when they release this. Now, as for Waves 3 and 4, we do not really know yet. Now, this could have just been a minor detail that doesn't really mean anything. However, I'm thinking that what will happen is that after, I don't really know too much on this, But I think that after Side Order comes out, what we'll get is maybe after you complete Side Order, there will be like a post that quest, which could be another part of the DLC. I really don't know. But yeah, I think that'll be interesting to see, and we'll just have to wait until around when Side Order has an official release date announced, and then we'll maybe see like them tease a third and or fourth wave of DLC. One thing I think would be interesting is maybe if they gave more lore relating to the in-game artists, like the music groups, other than the idols, other than Squid Sisters Off the Hook and Deep Cut, like more information about Seas. Hello, it's Editing Evelyn once again, and well, will you look at that on the screen right now? They did give us a bit more information about Seaside, along with announcing that they'll be releasing the Splatoon CD of Splatoon 3, which they've already done Octotune, and then Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2, which is just the CDs of the music from the games. But yeah, I recorded this, by the way, but right before it was announced, like a few hours before that was announced. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, back to the video. Side, Squid Squad, Front Row, all of those people, and more. And I think that would be really interesting if, like, we could do something related to that, but I don't know. Anyway, that pretty much concludes the video. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please do leave a like on the video, and if you did not enjoy it, if you thought it was bad, leave a dislike, because although, unfortunately, YouTube has made it so you guys cannot see the dislike to like ratios, us creators still can, and I do look at them, and I use that to determine, like, if it's a negative dislike ratio, I'm like, hey, what did I do wrong in here? What can I make better for the next video? And if it's a positive one, I'm like, hey, what did I do right in here? If you did enjoy the video, please do leave constructive criticism in the comments below. Speaking of comments, if you have any of your own thoughts on this, please do leave a comment below. I read every comment, and I respond to, I try to respond to a lot of them, like ones that could actually cause discussion, I will respond to, and I'd love to have a discussion with you in the comments below relating to this. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you really enjoyed, I'd really appreciate subscribe. I have 49 at the time of recording this, so it'd be nice to get to 50 if I don't already have it. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get to 75 before the end of March, so that's my goal. Anyway, that's been enough for me. Thank you for watching, and I've been Rumor Knight. I upload videos every Saturday, and I'll be heading out. Thank you.